This is called a coordinate plane or a Cartesian plane, and the way that you draw that is by two intersecting lines. So we have a horizontal line right here, and then we have a vertical line. Okay, so horizontal is a line that goes from left to right, and then vertical is up and down. When these two lines intersect at a 90-degree angle, it forms a grid, a coordinate plane, okay? And the horizontal line we always refer to as the x-axis. Have you heard this before? Yeah? And then do you know what the vertical?
Y.
Good, is the y-axis. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about the coordinate plane. How many sections does this have?
4.
Right, these sections are called quadrants. Have you heard that before? Yeah? Okay. Now, this is quadrant 1, always, okay? And then we move to the left, counterclockwise. This is quadrant 2, this is quadrant 3, and this is quadrant 4. Okay, so do you know how to read coordinates when they're plotted on here? Yeah? Okay, so let's look at just the basics right now. The point in the middle is referred to as what?
0.
Yeah, this coordinate is 0, 0, okay, because a coordinate always has to have 2 digits. And do you know another name for this point? It starts with an O. It's called the origin. Okay, you're going to hear that word a lot as well. So when you plot coordinates, you always start with the x value, and then you refer to the y value, okay? And I'll explain what that means. So we always think of it like we're started at the origin, and then I'm going to describe the movement. So I'm going to put a point here, okay? I'm going to describe how I get to this point. So starting at the origin, we're going to describe the horizontal movement. So I'm going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right. So I know this is going to be located at positive 5. And to get to this point here, how did we move along the y-axis? How many spaces did we move?
2.
2, exactly. So this point is located at 5, 2, okay? And I forgot to mention that to label your axes, it's like a number line, okay? So I know the numbers on the right of the origin are positive, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the numbers to the left of the origin would be
Negative.
good. So just like a number line. So then we also have numbers above the origin are positive, okay? And then the numbers below the origin are negative on the y-axis. Okay, so any point in the first quadrant will always have positive digits, right? If we move to the right and if we move up, both values will be positive. How about in the second quadrant? How would we read the coordinates?
The x would be negative and
Good.
the y would be positive.
Good. The x would be negative and the y would be positive because we're moving left. We always move left or right first, and then we move up or down. So then the coordinates in the third quadrant, how would we read them?
X would be negative and y would be negative.
Good. 2 negatives. And then in the fourth quadrant,
X is positive and y is negative.
good, excellent. Okay, what I've done here is I've drawn in 6 coordinates and I wanted you to label them. So we know that, just as a recap, we always label our coordinates. We look at the movement along the x-axis first. So we stop at 4, and then along the y-axis, right? We're going to move up or down. In this case, we're moving up, and this is located at 4, positive 4, and positive 1. So you always want to start at the origin. So for B, because sometimes people mix it up, we look to see, okay, does this coordinate move left or right? Does B move left or right at all? No. So it starts at 0. It doesn't move left or right, but then we know that it's going to move up, and we stop at 3. Okay, then the opposite for C, does it move left or right? Yes, it does. So it moved to negative 5, and then does it move up or down?
No.
No, so it stays, C actually stays on the x-axis, and B stays on the y-axis, okay? And then what did you get for D?
D, I got positive 2, negative 2.
Good. Positive 2, negative 2. And E,
Negative 2, positive 5.
good. Negative 2, positive 5. And F,
Negative 4, negative 4.
good. Perfect. Okay, so does that make sense? Okay, so now you're just plotting each of the points that I've given you. And I'll plot them and you can check your answers, okay?
Okay.
So A will be at 5, 0. It stays on the x-axis. Okay, so you got that one right. Sorry, I don't need to write the coordinate there. I'll just write A. So this is A. B is at negative 3 and 3. Good. So then C, we know we read it XY. So X, we don't move left or right. And then we move down 6. Good. D, negative 7. We always start with X. We're going to move to the left 7 and up 2. So you did. Good. And then the last one, E, to the right 3 and down 1. Perfect.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.